Good day, everybody. Here we are again, and it's the beginning of the month, so it's a pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. And if you were here, you'd then go a pinch and a kick for being so quick. But anyway, we're in October already. Goodbye, September. And that means Christmas is just over the horizon in Cape Town. Kind of interesting stuff. And I've just finished the press release, which will be out today. It's October the 1st. It'll be out tonight, but we're in China, so that means it'll be out sometime around midday on the 1st of October in Europe, and wherever else you are, I'm not sure. So there we go. It's quite fun. It's interesting. I'm going a different angle again. We're trying to get traction in all the media, and the best way is to keep it short and simple, but we want to tell the whole story with everyone, so everyone's balanced. We don't just focus on the winner or the leader of the race, although there's some fun stuff to talk about Renault this time, and we're short of good photos. We've got a few photos, we've got videos we'll use and things like that. So it's a balance between being just straight news and being like a newsletter to tell all the fans, because we got 18,000 people on the subscribers list, so they all get it into their email box. I'm not sure if everyone opens it, but they get it, and that's one of the reasons why we, in our other bigger events, when there's a lot more people involved, and we got like 65,000 followers, sort of on Facebook, we do press releases every week, right? There's a lot of news happening and going out. There's a lot of news happening with the 580 as well, of course, and I could do one every week. There's enough news to do that, but then you've got to be careful because the people that are on the subscription list, if they're not actually following much, they get pissed off because they see all these things, because I get them in my inbox. You wouldn't believe the amount of stuff I get. Anyway, I digress. And we'll talk about the stainless steel pack on the way in. If you were watching this live from the beginning, you would have seen about 10 photos of the various bits of stainless steel pack that's compulsory for builders to use. So we'll talk about that a bit. And I've got some funny Entrant updates as well. So, and they're getting close to Rodriguez, which is fun. Let's go straight to the tracker now. We're pretty good to go. Here we go. So you're on the tracker, and now I'm on the tracker, and we've been out there for 219 days, 20 hours, 39 minutes, and 37 seconds. So a long time ago from Portugal, that's for sure, but that actually countdown starts from Antigua. Pretty nice sailing conditions, good breeze from the right direction. Sea's going to be the usual 3 to 4 meters, but they're pretty close. Renault's now only probably 180 miles or something from Port. 142 miles to go for Renault, so we'll have a quick peek. Don't look too much. 135. So he did 135 miles in the last 24 hours. So sometime a little bit later than today, tomorrow, if that makes sense, he's got a day and a bit, he should be able to cross the line and then work out what the day-night-day situation is there, and he'll be able to get into the anchorage. He's looking forward to that, I reckon, because I've mentioned before, he was there last when he sailed around the world with his parents when he was a little boy. I think that's right. Yes. Okay, so at the back of the fleet, we've got, and I hope you enjoyed, I meant to mention this yesterday, Graham's report. I really enjoyed this one. They're all good, but this one was particularly easy to read, a lot of interesting information, and even me, I'm dealing with them all the time. I see their posts, all that sort of thing. I don't listen in to the conversations that Graham has, but they're pretty interesting. So it was a good report to read, that one. Very good report. So, Josh, here we go. 4.7 knots and 110-mile day. Taking it easy like Ayrton, but I think Ayrton squeaked ahead a little bit. 116-mile day. So, Ayrton also taking it easy, 4.9 knots. He's the one that can be cruising in the middle of a race. He's cruising race, having a good time. Excuse me. We called it his sabbatical, a long-time trip around the world in his little room on tracker, having a lot of fun and going for it. Eric and Jasmine are going neck and neck here. Jasmine is doing 124 miles in the last 24 hours, doing 5.2. pretty straight line. All looks good. Eric's a little bit wobbly on the course, but 5.1 and 107. So, Jasmine, you're actually passing Eric, which is pretty impressive. So, Eric, you're in trouble. So, no, you're not in trouble. I hope you're all okay and all that sort of stuff. But Jasmine is definitely passing you at the moment. Oh, it looks like Jacob's getting on top of Christian as well. This is interesting. 5.2 and 135 mile day for Christian. And what's Jacob got? 130. No, Christian has picked up a bit on that, zeroing in on Jacob. Jacob's doing 5.6 and 130, so 5 mile deficit towards Christian. Then Adam. Adam is doing 133, keeping the pressure on. That's cool. Peeler. Had a discussion in the press release about Peeler's constant keeping up with everything, but having challenges trying to close the gap. So even though she's had some big days, 145 and all that sort of stuff, the gap still sits there. So 135 mile day and 5.6 knots. Kerry, 132. Having said that, there you go. You took 3 miles out of Kerry. 132 mile day and 5.5 knots. Dan, 5.5 and 129. Look, everyone's boring down, but sadly, Dan's got a cute little dog passed away, which is sad, But anyway, all kind of cool. It's all about family and things like that. Virtually no one would be out here doing this race if it wasn't for family. But anyway, that's another story. So carry on, Dan. You're excused for not being able to keep up with Kerry for today, but better keep ahead of it tomorrow. 132 versus 129, so 3 miles behind. And Renault, we've already seen that, 135 against Dan's 129. So Renault slowly stretching it out up the front there, doing pretty well. Let's have a look at the sea state. I don't think anything's really changed from yesterday. No, still pretty solid. They've got bigger waves down the middle of the fleet than up the front, but it's still all much of the same. In fact, I'm getting the impression here, I don't know whether you sense this, obviously the sea state's really uncomfortable, but then occasionally I'm seeing reports from the entrants that are saying, the wind's backed off and it's quite reasonable now, 2 meters and stuff, things like that, and then the next day it'll be 3.5. But I'm not seeing that area on this graphic saying when it drops back to 2 meters. And I think part of that might be that there's nothing at all out here. I'm wondering about this. This is just a theory, right? An idea or concept. They'll only have a few floating buoys out here giving data, atmospheric pressure, seawater temperature, salinity, sunshine or cloud cover, all that sort of stuff. And wave height is generated from the accuracy of various bits of data. But I think sometimes, this is basically showing it's always 3 to 4 meters, and I don't think that's the case. I think sometimes some of the boats are getting a bit of respite on that, and it's not sitting at 3.5. It goes back to 2.5 or something. So anyway, it looks like it's dying off. There goes one day. There goes the next day. Yeah, definitely dying off a little bit. So that's good to see. We'll go the third day, see how much it dies off. Yeah, look at that. Getting back towards the 2s and things like that. So, and that's the big systems going away. So we'll immediately leave it at that for the 4th of October. And all right, so it's twisting around. It's on the top of that high there, big high. Look at that. That's geographically pretty big. Right through the middle of the Indian Ocean. There's a big high pressure going around in a counterclockwise direction, creating the trade winds up the top. Very nice. Not so nice here if you look under Madagascar. If you imagine the fleet, you're coming down here and you're trying to get around the corner, you've now got direct headwinds, right? Because you're coming down and across. So you'd pretty much stop. And those seas there, if we look at the waves there under Madagascar, yep, you're back to your 3.5 meters. So that would be tough going today if you were trying to get around. Let's just see. I'm going to go back a day. It's coming pretty quick. So I'll just come back here. Let's just watch that progression. You can see how fast these things move. So there you got pretty good following breezes. You can see the line there of the system and northerly, right? You've got this high pressure starting to form up. And I'll just click this through every 3 hours and you'll see how the high gets stronger. It's coming across to the east. So there goes one day. And you've got a lot of confusion here underneath Madagascar. This is the area we're watching. I'm just going to blow that up a little bit more. You might be able to see that in context. Get rid of that one. just for the future to show you how the systems work, because this looks like a textbook one. But they will get less as the weeks progress. So now I'm going to carry on and just, you can see the headwinds coming. So under Madagascar, you've got light headwinds, but you've got some sort of a front coming up, and all of a sudden, bang, it's still a southerly. That's not so bad, but it's splitting at the island. So it's, going to be forward of the beam, but it's only holding for about a day and a bit. And then you straight away there, you've got favourable stuff. You can see it rolling over, coming from the east. So it's only like a day and a bit. So that's where you might end up hoving to, or just stalling, or reaching across it, or whatever. Something for them to think about in the future. Down here, look, you don't want to be going around there at that stage because there's a big bit there. So it's still coming through, but then it disappears, and then you've got good stuff. You can sneak down on that. There's the northerly coming down, and then you've got another big sou'wester every few days. So that's fine. That's off in the distance. They'll get completely different by the time they get there. It'll be smooth sailing. Boom. Okay, so let's go back and check the 2-day wind now. We looked at the sea state. That's where they're going, Port Matern at Rodriguez Island, and we'll just click that through for a couple of days. Still got nice trades all the way, so Renault's going to have a fast slip straight in there. It's coming from the east. Should be okay. You can hide in behind that, cross the finish line and hide in that little bay of reef. Second and third, all looking pretty good as the fourth. So more of the same, nothing happening there. Let's just quickly look at the cloud cover and see what they've got. That's back to real time now. Pretty reasonable. Leaders have got blue sky. Middle pack have got bits and pieces. Another day, it's forming up. Yeah, it's the bigger winds coming with it. They've got a bit of cloud and a bit of everything, a bit of sun. So not too bad. Currents, the last one to look at. See what they're doing. Currents today, all favourable, probably worth 10 miles. Nothing for up the front of the pack. That's okay. And the second day, surprising how quickly this changes, eh? There you go. A day later, there's sort of nothing through the middle and more up the front. So sort of like a bit of a cycle. Have another day there. So, okay. That's probably all I need to show you there for now. Yep, I think we're done on that. So I'll come back here. Had a quick message from Jasmine's mum. We're having another interaction with the ARC rally. There's the Round the World rally. We, as a coordinator, we just advise everyone there's like a customs wharf. There's a city wharf. It's not a marina. It's just a wharf where you come in Port Louis. You come up the harbour. You tie up alongside the wharf. You go and do all your entry and stuff, and then you decide where you want to go and what you want to do. Some people will stay in Port Louis itself, tied up to the wall there. I'm not sure what it's like. It seems reasonably protected, but there might be a wake coming through, so you've got good fenders. There's not much in the way of marinas there, and Jasmine's mum had everything all set up. She had sort of like a tentative booking, or she thought, but then that's all been lost. It's all been taken over by the ARC rally, and so she can't get in there, and wanted to know where the other marinas are. There's not many there, and generally the marinas in this round the world route, they don't take bookings at all, because yachts are notorious for not arriving on time. So if they block out a booking for a berth for 10 days or 8 days from X to Y, but then the boat that took the booking doesn't turn up until X plus 3 or X plus 4 or whatever it is, then the marina loses the berthing. So they just grab boats as they're arriving. And it looks like the ARC fleet's got in there and either blocked out or made commitments and made payments, and so now there might not be a marina to go to. So failing that, the other plan is, and a lot of yachts do this as well, they come into Port Louis and they actually do their clearances and so on, and they go north, and there is a big yacht club on the northwestern corner, but there's no marina at the yacht club. There's just good anchorages, and it seems quite pleasant up there. I've never been in there, but I've seen all the photos. The yacht club's really friendly. They've already contacted us. We've passed all the contacts to the 580 entrants in the MGR, and it's up to them where they want to go. Oh, what I will show you is the finish line into... I showed you Rodriguez. I'll show you Mauritius when they're leaving Rodriguez. Mauritius, it's in the port and so on. So that's kind of an interesting one. Then I'll give you the entrant reports. poor old Jacob was getting a bit of a bagging, because this is normally just kept for the entrants to send their updates that I'm going to read out to you. But when someone sends a funny one, like Jacob's manager, which I'll read you now, I think he was the first one to where we went to last time. Yesterday, where did we get to? Did I give you sun bears? Yes, I think I did. And I gave you Christians, challenging conditions. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this was BB, John Hanley. He's the manager of BB. BB could have sent me one himself, and I think he does after this. But anyway, so Jacob's getting older. No, I didn't misspell and leave out a C. Today he complained about the cold in temperatures around the mid-20s. So whining and whinging about having to wear shoes once again after almost 6 months barefooted, and complaining about the constant rain. He lives in Ireland, for Pete's sake. He didn't say Pete's sake, he said something else. So the manager's having a go. Any ideas how we could get a granny lap blanket to him in Rodriguez? So the first one we got then was, jeepers, where'd it go? I just lost it. Here we go. First one came in from Christian very quickly after that. We got lots of laughs on here. So Christian pipes up and says, tell him to slow down and wait for me. I'm going to bring him a blanket, all right? But he's not going to do that. And then Jacob popped up. Now, I haven't read these, so Jacob came in. I thought I'll save this for today, so I don't know what he's going to say. BB of course, Jacob, all good here, bar the weather. It's like too little wind for the state of the sea. Waves are so messy and make me feel like I'm in the washing machine. Wind goes up and down, and I struggle to find the good sail plan. I'm not very wet, and cabin is dry as well. When I'm tired of trying, I just jam myself in the bunk and read a book. So he didn't see the note about the blanket, so he mustn't be too cold. Adam comes up. I didn't know many Germans, but this one's got a hell of a sense of humour. Bravo, Argo. So anyway, and then they're now sending me gifs and all that sort of stuff anyway. Christian, I want a blanket too. Oh no, that's Christian to Adam. I want a blanket too. Bother boys. Yeah. Anyway, Kerry, hot water bottle with a furry tartan cover. Anybody? He's suggesting they send him a hot water bottle. Anyway, that might be the end of that one. We've got Entrant in here. Tracker. Last few days I've not been out other than for a short minute just to have a look or change sails. He just lives down below. I have the hydrovane controls inside by the door or the hatch, as I only use the compass. Will adjust it only if I'm running away from the rum line. Looking forward to calmer weather for domestic work. Starlink working many hours at a time. Other than Ecomax and a masthead light, every morning still have good battery. Though I have been lucky to have many sunny days. Every day other than recent blow. The running jib only, he's running a jib only, and he rolls that in and out as required. And if he needs a full jib out, he'll be sailing with half a jib. And if he needs half a jib out, he'll be sailing with no jib. And if he's not having enough fun, he'll take less sail down. Then he'll have more fun. So he's enjoying the ride. Okay. Though I have been so lucky with sunny days, running jib only. Trekker has not gone in. Trekker has not gone on its side much, so he hasn't had many big knockdowns. I spoke to him the other day, and he'd had a few big ones, but not so much recently. Higher speed would change that. So what he's saying there is, if he increased the speed, he reckons he'll get knocked down more. So he's happy to carry on. So all is well on board. It's an interesting point because I mentioned it in the press release. I've just finished the press release, so it's fresh in my mind. And I was. I shouldn't say too much. I'll let you read it. But speed is an interesting point, and I was sympathising with Peela. Peela is working very hard, but she's having real challenges trying to catch up and close the gap. She's holding her own, but it's just really hard to close the gap. But at the end of the day, it's still very worthwhile to hold your own because I've mentioned this before. In my mind, in my opinion, it's never over till Fat Lady sings, but the winner of the MGR is going to come from one of those four. Okay, touch wood. And the deal now is they just got to hold their own and wait for someone else to make a big mistake. Hopefully, none of them will make a big mistake. but that's exactly what happens in the GGR and things like that. You gain dramatically when someone else makes a mistake and they have to slow up for a day or half a day or whatever, and you can just sail straight past them, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, boom. So the name of the game for her is just to keep doing what she's doing. She's doing really well. All four of them are. They're having a real ding dong battle up there, and no disrespect. No, what? Oh, I thought Jane was saying we had no image or vision or something. Yeah, that's where the winner's going to come from, and no disrespect to Adam and everyone in the middle of the fleet, because Adam's only a couple of days away from Pila, which is pretty good after 7,000 miles, about 7,000 out of Fiji at the moment. So everyone's still in the hunt, and it's all looking pretty cool. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, now I've got to show you these pictures and just explain the. So this is the chain plates here. This is the cap shroud and the lower chain plate on the side of the boat. You can see this is off Tracker. So one of them is bent in and they're engraved. It's got a little engraved there. That's our globe logo there, the around the world logo. We use that for OGR, MGR, and GGR. So that's what the cap shroud chain plate looks like. And there's two of them. They're all engraved, so that's cool. These are obviously they're made out of. These ones are made out of plate, right? So they're CNC cut out of plate, and then they're bent and they're highly polished and so on. That's the inner forestay, okay, that the storm jib goes onto. It has a cover plate for the deck, so you cut the slot in the deck and then fit it in. These are very thick, big washers for the keel bolts. So when you buy the kit, you get these backing plates. So they're for the keel bolts on the timber floors. And these two are the backstays, so they go on the transom. So the running backstays. Okay, this is the two stainless steel plates that we use for the patilla. So in other words, you put two bolts at the back, the two close ones are onto the rudder. I think that's right. Hang on a sec. Oh, I forget now. I'd have to look at the plans. I think the two back ones go onto the rudder, and the two bigger ones that are further apart, the tiller goes between the two, and they're engraved about dreams happen and blah blah blah. So as well, and there's one here which is going to be very interesting. Now this one here, I am yet to see another builder who understands what this is. This plate, they get this plate. It's the backing plate for the top gudgeon. We have a set of gudgeons and pintles there. This is like a backing plate for the top one that goes up on the transom, and the plate. See the little triangular box at the bottom there. That is just empty. The 580 engraved in a class globe 580 is in the ellipse, in the egg, but the box at the bottom is open, and you'll see on this one there's engraving there. Now that engraving is the commissioning plate. So you put on there, Tracker launched such and such a date, commissioned, built by blah blah blah. That's your commissioning plate. But most of the builders don't know what it is, and they don't engrave it. It's meant to be engraved and then bolted onto the boat, and then that's your plate. So when you launched it, who built it, all that sort of stuff. When you laid the keel, do whatever you want. So if you're a builder watching this, just remember to engrave your particulars in there. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Then the other one, this is the stem head fitting. So you're looking at that box is where the bowsprit goes in. So in other words, you're looking aft, and that'll be on the bow of the boat. You can see the V there, that goes down the stem, and then you get 3 holes at the top there for forestays, because we don't insist, or we don't say how you can rig the boat. You can put extras on, this, that, and the other. So some people, you could put, if you wanted to, you could put a Y fitting at the top of the mast where the stem, where the forestay goes in at the top of the mast, and you could actually run twin forestays. That's what this hole here is for. I don't talk about this a lot, but if you wanted to, you could actually run a port and starboard forestay and leave the centre hole empty, right? And with twin forestays, if you had hank sails, you could hank sails up and down the forestay and have spinnaker poles holding them out for running twins, whatever. The little hole down the bottom is for tying off things and shackles and stuff like that. And then the bowsprit, that's where the timber bowsprit slots in. Okay, so that's the stem fitting. This is all fabrications, CNC cut out and then welded. So you're seeing all the CNC stuff at the moment for cutting. Now these ones are all the machined components. This is the top rudder hinge, gudgeon, pintle, and so on. This whole thing is machined. All of the components here, except for the bolt, is machined out of a solid block of stainless steel, right? So they're not just a fabrication. That when Giannis provides the plans, if you want to, you can go and fabricate them out of stainless steel strap. We decided as a class, for a few reasons, that this stainless steel pack is compulsory. Everyone has to buy it. If you want to register your boat, register your 580 under the class, you've got to buy this stainless steel kit. Um, the other parts like your stem fitting and your cap shrouds have got your hull number also engraved onto it. And this means we are absolutely certain that this is super strong, rather than have everyone, weld them up in plates and this, that, and the other, and know that the rudders might fail and so on. These are incredibly strong, way overbuilt, but for around the world, that's what we want. So that's the top one there, and then there's this is the bottom one. So one end goes onto the little skeg that's fitted under the boat, and the other goes onto the rudder. So, and again, this is not bent plates and all that. It's actually machined out of a solid block of stainless steel. So that's the lower gudgeon and so on, and that's it. Yeah. Oh, there's other bits as well, which I didn't want to. There's stainless steel discs for both of the winches on the cabin top. There's a little strip for the stem of the boat down the bottom, because if you imagine there's the bow comes down and then the hull is underneath, there's a stainless steel strip that you just bend. You just put one screw holding the plate in at the top, the strip. It's like a thin bit, like a biro, and you screw that in, but that's above the water line, so it's never going to sit in the hole, in the water rather. And then where it hangs down, you then bend that underneath, down and under in the knuckle of the stem, and you put it on with Sicker or whatever. Sicker's just as easy, and then let it set. And that's it. And that's for impact stuff. So if something hits, it's quite vulnerable there. It's going to hit the stainless steel plate, and that impact will be stretched over spread over the turn there, and it might not crack the glass, which is securing and covering the plywood. And on Trekker, we put a big triangular. We had doubled up on epoxy and glass there, and we did the same under the keel to allow for keel coming on and off and sanding and stuff. And we had another strip of glass down on Trekker going from the gunnel all the way down where the chain plates are, all the way wrapped around the hull, just to make it a bit stronger. And there are some other bits as well. There's backing plates for the where you put your dagger boards in, 2 dagger boards on the back. If you want to have lifting dagger boards, you've got to be careful because they're meant to be blowout mounts, but you can still damage the hull there if you're not careful. So we've got plates there that you can bend to act as an L-type bracket, like a cyclone tie-in bracket between the transom and the hull, so you don't rip the transom out of the boat. So a few other bits and pieces as well, plus you get a T-shirt and bits and pieces. But the prices have gone up dramatically since quite a lot since we first started this in 2020. And now a full set of all that stuff, including freight, because that whole pack weighs 10 kilos, right? So there's 10 kilos of stainless steel bits in that package, right? And including freight back to Europe and stuff, it's about €2,000 now for all of that kit, and it is compulsory. So now you know what it is when we hear us talking about the stainless steel pack that you've got to have, and that identifies the boat as a registered 580. So that's one of the few things that's compulsory. The mast, you can do whatever you want with the design, but it's got to be approved. Because the plans are there, Yanis has got the plans, but we can identify hulls and what they are and whether it's registered or not through that process. And there's a few builders that are building without any consideration for registering their boat with Class 580. There's a fantastic carbon fibre one done. Right? The guy builds a plywood boat, really lightweight ply, still strong. You've got carbon fibre bits and pieces. You've got a lifting fin keel, which is like a big fin keel, carbon fibre mast, super high-tech sails. I just saw there was a thing on Facebook. I should have got you the picture. He just changed his profile photo on his Facebook page, and it just reminded me I hadn't seen it for 6 months or a year or something. But it's a pretty hot boat, and there's a couple in is it Argentina and Brazil where it's very expensive to import anything in there, and they decided to build their boats off the books. So they're not planning to be racing any 580 things. They just like the 580, so they're doing their own thing. Same with sails. They're not going to use necessarily quantum sails. They'll just have their own sails and bits and pieces and go sailing in their beautiful boat. So that's it. All right, enough of that. And let's just see who's here and say g'day. G'day, Adrian. G'day, John. Christine. G'day. Evening. Adrian, have we heard if Renault is going to change his sail damage to his main, if I remember? No, but he'll be thinking long and hard about that. And there's a couple of them there that. Well, no, Dan hasn't ordered any spare sails. Kerry hasn't ordered any spare sails. He may, and I don't think he's just got his one set, so that's nothing. And Pila, I don't think she's got any spare sails either. So if Renault was to take a sail, any sail, and he's got them on board, he will take a 2-day penalty. And I'm not sure where he sits overall. He might have a 2-day break since Antigua to now. I'd have to have another look, I forget. Maybe it's only a day and a half. And if he did, Dan would be in the lead. So he's going to have to think long and hard about that. I know Kerry was watching it because the idea was, I think Renault said, okay, if he was ever fortunate enough to get so far ahead that he had a couple of days up his sleeve, he's carrying the spare sails so he can break them open and use them. Because he was aware, he's quite clever, he was aware that a year of sailing around the world is going to have an impact on the sails, not only from normal wear and tear, but also UV and things like that. So let's wait and see how it pans out. This is for me. I'm just sitting back smiling because I remember I really struggled when we were writing the notice of race many years ago. I like the idea of having a sail penalty, but had to work out what was going to be 24 hours, 72 hours, 48 hours, whatever. And I said 48 hours, but little did I realise how critical that 48 hours is. So we got that right. That's pretty cool. Okay, I can take him a hot water bottle. Yeah, good. All right, can you confirm the prize giving date in Antigua? It'll be March the 20th. March the 20th in Antigua. That's when it's on. So, okay, that's it. Yeah, remember to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.